All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to record the warm-up and the notes today, which is going to be the entire writing equations, every single thing that has to do with writing equations. We're going to go through it on this one piece of paper, all right? I talked the other day about, on Friday, writing equations is kind of like you're a detective. You get a little bit of evidence. You got to try to find a way to solve and figure out what the equation is going to be, okay? Hope whatever that squeaky toy is, somebody takes it easy. Now, the first two is the first category. This is as easy as it gets. You have the M and the B right here given to you, the M and the B. So, can you figure out what the entire equation is? Does anybody know what the M number should be? 3. And does anybody know what the B number should be? -2. Obviously, that is incredibly easy. All right, tomorrow on the quiz, on the test, whatever, you're going to have these questions that are so easy. Good age. You're going to need one of these. Just take one of those. Sorry, there's 2 there. So, then we got the second question. Again, super easy. Y equals -2 fifths x plus 1. Literally might be the easiest questions all year. You just put the 2 numbers where they're supposed to be. Now, moving past that, you're a detective and you're going to have to do a little bit of investigation, right? Now we've got 2 points on a line given to us here. They're a little bit hard to see, so I highlighted them for you. And from these 2 points, can you determine what the M should be and determine what the B should be? So to start, I think I heard the right answer, but we're going to start with the B and work our way there slowly. The B value is always on the y-axis, remember. So it's wherever the y-axis touches our line, that's what makes a y-intercept. So wherever these 2 lines touch, which is at +3. So our B value is going to be 3. And then we're going to look, what is the slope? Now when we do the slope, I'm going to look at both of these points. I always like to start at the bottom point because I like to count up. How much do I need to go up? 1, 2. That's my rise. How much do I need to run? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. That is my run. And I'm running left, which is negative. Now, if you've already finished ahead of me, hold on just a second. Let's go to Desmos. Fraction -2 over 4. Desmos says -1/2. So whenever we're getting these fractions, Desmos is your simplifier. -2 fourths, not so great. -1/2, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we want. Now, remember, the true objective of these questions is to tell me what is the entire equation of this line. So if you need to tell me the entire equation of this line, it would be y equals, then the m, -1/2, x plus 3. Next question, same thing. You're going to have to do this on the quiz. You're going to have to kind of look at a graph and determine the M, the B, and then tell me the whole thing. So here's your 2 lines. Let's start with our B value. What is the B value for this question? I agree with you, -3. Nice job, everybody. Proud of you. Then let's go to our M. How much do we rise? 2. And run? 3. Can you make a pass to Miss Easton? So we're going to go here. We're going to double check 2/3 and looks pretty good. 2/3. So we're going to stick with 2/3. Y equals 2/3 x minus 3. Now, we're a detective. First 2 questions, they straight up give us the answer. Super easy, super short, no stress. Next 2 questions, we have to do some exploring, we have to do some looking, we have to do some counting. Bottom 4 questions is what we did on Friday or yesterday, depending on what time of the year I'm teaching this. Now, when we have these 4 questions here, This is writing equations, same thing. We're going to need to find out the m and the b so that we can write an equation, right? Same setup as all the other questions. But for number 5, I see that the m is 1/2, but the b, I don't see the b value anywhere. I do see that we have the number 4 and the number 7. Are any of these numbers the b value? No, these are not the b value either. This is the m. Then this 4 is an x and the 7 is a y, because we know that coordinates go x, y. Now, the process that we're about to do is the most important process on the quiz tomorrow, guaranteed. You have to know how to do this process. You're going to start with y equals mx plus b. Then, you want to think about it for a second. Do we know the number for y? It's over here. Yes, we do. Do we know the number for m? Yes, we do. Do we know the number for x? Yes, we do. B, I'll put a little question mark here. B is a mystery. And so that is our plan. We're going to put all those numbers in there, have a plus b, and then we're going to solve for b. What we got to get right, what you have to do correct, is put the numbers in the right spot. The equation is y equals mx plus b, where the y comes first. But up here in the question, is the y coming first? No, the y is all the way at the end here. So basically just make sure you get this y right. The y is 7. The y needs to come first. And so our equation should be 7 equals the m number, 1/2. It's okay if it's a fraction. Then the x, which is a 4, and we always put the x in parentheses since it needs to be multiplied. And then we're going to finish with plus b. A very common thing we talked about is that people forget this b. Just keep writing the b, because that's our goal. Now some people, they're like, okay, I can do this. They're feeling confident. They write their y equals mx plus b. Then they plug the numbers in, and they're like, Mr. Collier, I don't quite know what to do. If you can get this far, you did all the hard stuff, right? Only easy stuff left. Multiply, move. Every single question. Multiply these together because of those parentheses, and then move them to the other side. So to start, just using Desmos, I think we can do this in our head, but 1/2 times 4, Desmos says 2. So we're going 7 equals 2 plus b. Don't forget the plus b, right? Keep writing the b. That's what we're trying to do. We multiplied it. Now it's time to move it. How do you move a positive 2? Minus 2, minus 2. And what's 7 minus 2? 5. So we got 5 equals b. Perfect. That's what we were looking for. We were looking for the b number, and we found it. Don't forget to finish the question, right? The people that hired you want a complete report. And so you got to tell them, hey, listen, I figured everything out. Y equals 1/2 x plus 5. All right. Now this procedure, it's Friday, or we learned it on Friday. Now it's Monday. Our brain's a little bit foggy. This first question might seem a little bit funky. Let's get into the second question. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. The m and the b to help us find the entire equation. The m is -1. The b, I don't know what the b is, right? It doesn't tell us what it is. We do get 3 numbers. We get an m number, an x number, and a y number. I like 0. 0 makes things easy. 0 makes multiplying easy. 0 makes adding easy. So I like 0. We're going to have y equals mx plus b. And the main thing we got to get right is put those numbers into the correct position. So y equals mx plus b. Which one of these numbers is going first? It's going to be 0. Because y is the first letter and 0 is the y number. 0 equals -1 parentheses -3 plus b. I'm going to keep writing my plus b. Don't forget that part. And now we're done. Like, we got it. Multiply it, move it, game over, easy peasy. -1 times -3. -1 times -3 is +3. All right. 0 equals 3 plus b. Not bad. Now we want to solve for that b. We want to move the 3. How do you move a +3? You subtract it. And of course, what's 0 minus 3? All right, just -3. So we figure it out. -3 equals b. Now pause for 1 second. When we write this equation, I know that the m is -1. The equation is going to be y equals, nice catch, -x minus 3. Right? We're not going to write the 1. Something we worked on a lot last week. We took that little quiz on Friday. Remember, it was an unlimited attempts, just trying to keep track and memorize things that we need, things that we don't need. That 1 in there is something that we don't need. All right, the last 2. Here's what I'm going to do on my piece of paper. I'm going to put a big highlighter box on the bottom of these last 2. So here's why I'm doing the big highlighter box. Number 1, I think that they're interesting questions with interesting setups. But the main thing about these 2 is that if we remember a little bit, we can skip the whole question basically. So this says m equals 0. There is one on the floor up here, Miss Eason. There is one up here. Yeah. Not your fault at all. So we have m equals 0, and m equals 0 is a flat graph, if you guys remember. If you have no slope, you are a flat line. And is a flat line a horizontal graph or a vertical graph? A flat is a horizontal graph. And all of those things basically mean it's going side to side. All right? So we have a flat horizontal graph. Now, you could do the entire process that we did up here, or if you're being a little sharp, if you're thinking, if you can notice that m equals 0 means flat, which means horizontal, which means side to side, I'm going to give you a little bit of another reminder trick. You guys have heard this before. We got the hoi, horizontal. The O is actually a 0 slope. And at the bottom here, we have a y. Now, a lot of times, teachers write it like this, y equals. If we have a line that is totally flat, the equation is going to be y equals and just one number, right? We've seen this in the past. I'll prove it to you. If I go to Desmos and I'm just going to type a random number, y equals 3, zoom out, that is how we get a flat horizontal line. I'll show you a trick. Y equals, let's use, come on.
Maybe it's X.
Desmos is being too smart for me. Sorry. Okay, we've got this. Y equals, we need just one number here. And if you look at all these numbers in the question, which one of these numbers is the y number? It is -8 because it goes x and then y. So here's what we just kind of put all together. If you have 0 slope, it's y equals. We've seen these graphs a lot. We have looked at this graph and graphed it a lot. But now that we're going backwards, and making our brain work that opposite direction is a little bit tougher. Now this one over here is basically the same thing, but this is one that you kind of need this little trick for. If I get undefined and I try to do my y equals mx plus b setup, okay, and I try to say, do we have a number for the y? Yes. Do we have a number for the x? Yes. But for number 8, do we have a number for the m? The answer is no. The m is undefined. And so what we've got here is a double mystery, okay? This is a problem. Now, the good news is it's actually a really short question. An undefined graph is a vertical graph. We have that VUX to remind us. V is vertical, U is undefined, and the X at the bottom, just like the Y means Y equals, the X means X equals. So when we go to finish this question, we write X equals 1. And then you just got to tell me, look at all these numbers up here, which one is the X number? It's this. It is a 1. I agree with you. All right. So if you see undefined slope in your brain, you have to know this trick, right? It's like, you know, you're a detective and you've seen a lot of different stuff, and one of those clues that you need to keep track of is undefined, okay? When you have undefined, you got to think about X. All right. Flip over to the back. Here's the new stuff for today, and I got good news. This is not a whole lot of notes that we're going to take, and there is no new information here, okay? First of all, let's look straight at the problem. Number 1, can you tell me the entire equation for number 1? Now, we've solved questions. We can write the entire equation if they give us both m and b. We can write the entire equation if they show us a picture. We can write the entire equation if they give us the m and 1 coordinate. So here's the final level. 2 coordinates. Okay? If I try to figure this out, do I know what the m is? No. Do I know what the b is? No. So right now, I'm starting with absolutely nothing. Okay? Here's the good news. Flashback. We learned this formula earlier in the year. All right? This formula right here is called the, I like hearing that as a teacher. This is called the slope formula. Maybe you're just acting nice for the video. Who knows? This is called the slope formula. And the slope formula, one thing is that I always put parentheses on these letters. So you might remember going to Desmos and typing fraction, parentheses minus parentheses. Oh, I got distracted by the door. And on the bottom, parentheses minus parentheses. So what I would recommend is if you have Desmos, get this going. Now, how do you do this? Make sure you press the fraction button first. All right, one more time. Fraction first, parentheses minus parentheses, parentheses minus parentheses. Now, if you know how to do this, which is all old school, you'll find there is nothing new today at all. So let's look at these first 2 questions. What we're going to do for these first 2 questions is we're going to simplify them, and we are only going to find the slope. All right? So just for these first 2, can you take a coordinate and find the slope? Let's use this formula. I'm going to write m equals fraction parentheses minus parentheses, parentheses minus parentheses. I can write it kind of big because that's the only thing that we're going to do for this question. Now I need to make sure that I take my 2 coordinates here and I put those 4 numbers into the correct spot. Now, it's not that picky, but there's one thing we have to get right, okay? When it comes to this 1 and this 6, we have to have rise over run, which means we have to have the 6. Oh my God, I just wrote run on there. Brain's not working. Top. We have to put the 6 on top, okay? That is a guaranteed must happen. The 1 has to go on the bottom, okay? Now, when it comes to that 6, and we're picking which top it goes on, we can put it wherever we want. Some teachers like you to put it in the top left. Some teachers like you to put it in the top right. Noah, thank you. Let's put this 6 on the top.
It don't matter which side it goes on.
Right, but what does matter is that the 6 and the 1 stay together. So once I decided that this 6 was in the top left, I have to put the 1 underneath that 6. Okay. Up next is 2, 5. I'm going to speed up a lot. Which number is the top number?
5.
Nice job. The 5 goes on the top. I appreciate it. 5 on top, 2 on bottom. We go to Desmos and we type that in. 6 on top of 1. Oh, get it in the parentheses, man. 6 on top of 1. 5 on top of 2. Get my head out of the way. We got Desmos says -1. So the slope is -1. And no matter what choices we make, even if we put the 6, watch, I'm going to hit the undo button. Even if we did it differently, and I put the 5 on top of 2, then the 6 on top of 1, we ended up with the same thing.
Mr. Coyle?
So, let's just get to the second one. Really quick. M equals fraction. I'm going quickly. Parentheses minus parentheses, parentheses minus parentheses. I'm going to look at this first one. The only thing I got to do is make sure that that top number is the right top number. So, which one goes on top? It's the 7 with the -3 underneath it. You got to keep them together. The 7 is the top, the 3 is the bottom. All right, same thing over here. The second number is the top one. The first one is the bottom one. So that should be -1 on top of 1. Go to Desmos, hit the undo button, then go here, 7 over -3, top right, -1 over 1, and I'm looking at -2. What is that -2? It is the M. It is the slope. All right, make sure that you know what that -2 is. That's our slope. That is our M. Okay, this skill is like one of these skills that you've learned as a detective. So you're going to have to use this skill when we get to the next question. Here we go. We've only got 4 left. We're going to do them really, it's going to speed up pretty quickly. So stay with me. No new information here. Our goal, can you tell me what is the M, what is the B, and what is the full equation for number 3? Now, do you know what the M is right away? Do you know what the B is right away? So we're stuck. We cannot use our old strategies, but we can use our really old strategy, the slope formula, Kaya's favorite, right? So what we're going to do with number 3, you said, you remembered it, and this was your favorite thing that you learned all year. We're going to go back and we're going to find our M. We're going to go back. We're going to find our M using the slope formula. I'm a little bit short on room for this little spot here, so I'm writing it a little bit small. Now I got 2 coordinates. I'm going to work with the yellow one first. I'm going to put it in the first spot. Which number goes on top, the 9 or the 14? Has to be the negative 14 on top of the negative 9. Then we got our second one here, has to be the 2 on top of the 3. We go on to Desmos. We type all this in. Nice job. I heard the answer 4 over 3. Let's see it happen. Negative 14. Negative 9. Oh, negative 9. Press the right number, please. 2 over 3. Desmos tells me 4 over 3. Fantastic. We get 4 over 3. 4 over 3. We are halfway there. We have half of our information. You know, we even have this much. Y equals 4 over 3x. No, that is too loud. Second time I'm asking. Second time. Now we're on B. We're missing the B, but we have the M. So let's imagine this. Do we know any strategies where our 3 pieces of evidence, we have 2 coordinates and we have 1 slope? Do we have any strategy to find the B value if we have coordinate slope?
Equation.
Yes, so if we think about this front side, we have a slope and 1 coordinate. When we have a slope and 1 coordinate, we can solve this question. So if we have a slope and 2 coordinates, we can certainly solve this question. All right? One of the things today is that you're going to be doing questions where you actually have too much information, which is a good thing. But you got to know what you got. So, I'm doing my best to make it interesting, I promise. From here, we're going to have y equals mx plus b. We have an m, but up here we actually have xy, xy. We have 2 options. We got a yellow and an orange. Do we need both of those? No, we only need one of those. So you get to pick. Both of them will give you the same exact answer, but consider this. Which one looks nicer, the yellow or the orange? Certainly the orange, right? Don't make it harder on yourself. Go with the orange. I agree with you 100%. Now, let's say you're honestly kind of a weirdo and you like negative numbers or something, right? You can go with yellow. You'll get the same answer. Doesn't matter. Just pick one. I'm going to pick the orange. So, same exact procedure. Using orange. I'm not using the yellow anymore. I'm only using the orange. Y is 2. The M is 4/3. The X is 3 plus B. I'm just writing that down, putting my numbers in the correct spot. I'm going to Desmos, and I'm figuring out what is 4/3 times 3. Desmos says 4. Okay, do a little multiply. 2 equals 4 plus B. And then how do we move that 4? Minus 4, minus 4. And I'm getting 2 equals B. There we go. There's our answer. B is equal to 2. Y is equal to 4/3 x plus 2.
Wait, no.
Ah, nice catch, yeah. 2 minus 4, just use Desmos, get it all sorted out. Don't forget that, -2, that, oh, man, now I'm going to have to maybe use some whiteout or something. How about this?
Mr. Cole, you got me tripping.
Negative.
You made me think I got it wrong.
I did have you tripping, that's for sure. 4/3 x minus 2. Be careful. Don't skip ahead. Don't rush the easy parts. Use Desmos. All right, next question. Now, trust me on this one. It might look a little crazy. If you think about this, and here's where students, snoring on me. Might be, Mr. Collier, what the heck's going on here? What we actually have here are different coordinates. And how many coordinates do we have? We have 4 coordinates. We just solved the question with only 2. So if we have 4 coordinates,
We only need 2.
that's a good thing. We got too much, right? We got extra information. So if we have all 4 of these coordinates, we only need 2. And you can pick whichever ones you want, and no matter which ones you pick, you will always get the same exact answer as long as you do things correctly. So if I label these, and I just say maybe we got A, B, C, D, give me a letter. Now again, you might want to pick positive numbers, small numbers. I always like to pick 0 because I think 0 is easy, but some people don't like 0, so don't pick 0. I heard C, so I'll pick C. Anything else? Sure, some people said B, some people said A. I'm going to go with B because I like zeros. I think it's always good to get practice with zeros. But if you want to do A, then just do A. You know what I'm saying? Like, either way, it's all good. Now, these questions, these coordinates up here, we don't need them. We're just going to work with these 2. I'm going to need the M, I'm going to need the B, and I'm going to try to write an equation. I'm going to have to start with the slope formula. Parentheses minus parentheses, parentheses minus parentheses. I'm going to look over here, put the y's on top. That's a 3 over 0. That's a 4 over 2. That's just the slope formula. That's just the y's on top. I'm going to go to Desmos. I'm going to get that typed in. Hit my undo button. All right. So I got 3 over 0. I got 4 over 2. Desmos says 1/2. M equals 1/2. It doesn't matter which coordinates you choose. You're going to get 1/2 no matter what. You type it in correctly.
What is the B3?
From here, we got y equals mx plus b. Now, we only need 1 coordinate for this part. So what's going on is that for your slope formula, you need 2 coordinates. And for your y equals mx plus b part, you need 1 coordinate. You've got 4 options. You can choose any of the 4. You can choose the orange or the yellow, or you can use one of the ones we didn't choose yet, right? You could go with D, right? Let's just do that. I'm going to go with D here for this question. Really doesn't matter, right? Pick any one you want. I'll go with D for this question. 5 equals 1/2 times 4 plus B. What's 1/2 times 4? That's easy. Half of 4 is 2. And I messed this part up last time, so I'm going to take my time. Minus 2, minus 2. And I'm getting 3 equals B. B equals 3. I can write the whole thing. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Now, it does not matter which of these points you choose. If you plug it in correctly, you will get the right answer, guaranteed. You just have to make sure that you're following things appropriately. You put the y values on top, you pick a number, you put the y into the y. All right. You do not have to write this down if you don't want. I'm going to go through this last question, this very last one, and I'm going to go quickly. All right? So, let's set a little timer, see how long these questions take. All right? Stop, watch. Come on, Google, help me out. Nice. Ready? Go. So, not even working that fast. I'm going to need the M, the B, and I'm going to need the equation. I'm going to start off by doing my slope formula. Parentheses minus parentheses, parentheses minus parentheses, even writing all that out. I'm going to choose 2 of these coordinates. This one doesn't look too bad. And maybe, you know, I like 0, so I'm going to work with 0.
Wait, could I use the one below this?
Sure, you can use whichever ones you want, but I'm doing these ones. 1 on top of negative 1, because the y value is on top. Negative 2 on top of 0. Then I'm going to Desmos. It's only been 30 seconds so far. Hitting undo. And I'm going to type this in. 1 on top of negative 1. Or on the other side, negative 2 on top of 0. I got negative 3. So that means my m is -3. I'm almost done. Y equals mx plus b. I'm going to go ahead and choose to work with 0 for this one. That's fine. I'm going to choose this one. So I've got -2 equals m, which is -3, x, which is 0. And that's why I like 0, because what's 3 times 0? 0. -2 equals b, -2. I got y equals -3x minus 2. Even explaining every single thing I was doing, typing things in slowly, picking my choices out loud, took me about a minute and a half. Okay? I wasn't sprinting super fast. I wasn't talking super fast. These questions have 2 parts. Find the m, then find the b. But they're not crazy long rocket science algebra. All right, that's it for writing equations. You got to know how to write the easy equations when I give you both pieces, how to write the equations if I give you a graph, how to write the equations if I give you m and 1 coordinate, and finally, write the equations if you get 2 coordinates or even 4 coordinates. All right, that's everything writing equations.